Alright guys, welcome. Hope you guys are doing good. I'm doing pretty good. Let's get cracking into it. So today we've got these two guys right here. And I also pulled out a couple of the other ones. So I pulled out the Shell F40 that they did. Then I pulled out both of the regular red versions of the F40 that they did as well. So I don't think either of those F40s are technically like presentation versions of the Le Mans car, but they kind of fit the vibe either way. So I'm happy to get this one in. The Shell collection is growing, but both of these are the Ferrari 348 Challenge. The top one is from the 1994 Italian GT, and the bottom one is the presentation version of the race car. So we'll go ahead and crack into the red one first, and we'll take a look at it. I really like these older Ferrari race cars that Tarmac Works is doing. Like the F40s were awesome. In fact, there should be a couple more liveries of those F40s coming out at some point. And yeah, really been enjoying those. Then we got the one version of the F355. And we haven't gotten any more since, but I think there's some on pre-order right now. So those are going to come. And then now we are getting these 348 challenges. So lots of cool, like, retro, vintage Ferrari stuff from Tarmac Works. So, yeah, like I said, we'll go ahead and start with the red one. I think I mentioned to you guys in a previous video, but they're not doing... I don't know if it's for all of them, but for the Ferraris, they're not doing the back, like the background part of the cardboard anymore. They're just doing, I don't even know what the point of it is, but they're just doing like this top portion that goes around. Like they took off the back of it. So I don't know why. It doesn't really make sense to me, but yeah, I don't know. Just another change they made. But anyways, here is the cardboard sleeve. It's pretty basic. Got the name of the car on the front. Tarmac Works and IXO. I believe IXO is the one that sources the licensing. And IXO model might actually produce these. I'm not 100% sure. But on the bottom, you do have your Ferrari licensing, which is the only thing that we really care about. Not the only thing, but... there's your code right there. Again, this should be a Hobby 64. Does it say it on here? Yeah, Hobby 64. So it says it on the back of the cardboard sleeve. But you have your standard acrylic case. This one's actually taped down. That's probably why. So we're just going to remove that tape. I don't need that tape on there. There is a quality control sticker on the bottom of it. But one thing I'm noticing is there was no little card in the bottom. Usually there's a little business card underneath the actual acrylic box, and it'll have a number, and then it just kind of, I think they all say the same exact thing every time, and then it'll have the name of the model, and then the Tarmac Works chassis number, I guess, and then it'll have like some neat design that kind of goes with the theme of the box. But this red one does not have it. I wonder if this one has it. No, this one does not have it either. I can't recall. I think there was a Porsche I got. I can't recall if it has it. So I wonder if they're not going to put these little cards in anymore. I kind of like that they did it because every model does have a unique number. But yeah, I don't know. Just something I'm kind of noticing. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But anyways, here is the car right here. It's on a black plastic plinth. You've got some red down here where this information is. We'll go ahead and take both of these off the base because there's not really any fragile pieces or parts on these particular castings. This particular casting, so there shouldn't really be anything that we risk breaking. So here is the car. Overall, it looks pretty good. It's actually a really small car. I guess I didn't realize how small the 348 was, but we'll do a roll test. These Hobby 64 Ferraris don't tend to roll very well. I mean, none of the Hobby 64 stuff usually rolls super well. It's kind of hit or miss. I mean, the wheels do turn freely. The front wheels catch on that top of the fender. The back ones roll, but just not great. So yeah, roll test, it fails. These do not roll very well, which I don't typically care about. Well, I don't really care at all because these models live their life on the bases, except for when I take them off to just kind of look at them or take photos or whatever. But yeah, they do not roll. With that out of the way, this is just the classic Ferrari red. Corsa Rosa, I think is the actual Ferrari name for it. Tarmac Works doesn't tell you the actual paint on these, which makes sense because a lot of these Ferraris have liveries and stuff, and then it's like, meh, kind of just redundant. But yeah, really nice Ferrari red color. It's super vibrant. It pops. It looks a little bit more dull on camera than it actually is. But the paint and color and everything looks great. The wheels, I think that these are the stock 348 wheels. I don't think... I really should have looked that up. But yeah, I think these are the stock wheels, and they look really good. They are silver metallic. You can see the 5 lugs in the center. There's a little bit of black in the center of the wheel, and I think it's supposed to be a round little dot, but it was not executed very well because on this back wheel it just looks like a black blob, and the other ones aren't centered very well. Well, this one kind of just looks like a black blob too, but I think those are just supposed to be like center caps. I'm not really sure, but overall the wheels do look good. Tires look good. In fact, I believe they have tire printing. I don't know if that says anything, but it's got that same thing on all 4 wheels. I don't know what that says. What does it look like on this side? Yeah, it's kind of just like the same type of thing. Oh, I do see, that says P0, so these must be Pirelli P0s. But, and like, I don't know what the actual, like, logo that on the tires looked like back in the like the 90s, so I don't really know. Like, that's probably the accurate logo, but they're like kind of like faded and like rubbed off on a lot of these wheels, so that's not great. But I guess it is their little tiny touch of not very well done tire printing for you. But other than that, really simple livery. You just have these sponsorship logos, like you've got Momo, Agip, some other different things that I don't really know what they are. Pirelli, of course, that's the tires. So, and these, I would assume, are the companies that helped Ferrari build these track-ready cars. So, like, Momo probably supplied, like, the steering wheel, and obviously Pirelli provided the tires. So that's, I believe that's where the majority of those sponsorship logos come from. But it does look good with these, like, just the plain red and the logos on it. Definitely nothing to complain about there. You have your Ferrari badge on the center of the hood up there. And you also do have your prancing horse, which is kind of just a silver blob. And then on the back, you have a much better looking prancing horse. And then you have Ferrari lettering right there. None of these are separate pieces. This is all just painted on, which I'm not really opposed to. I think painted badges look fine on diecast, and then it's typically less things to fall off and have quality control. But yeah, here's the front. Of course, this car does have pop-up headlights. They are in the down position, but you do have your fog lights down here, and these ones are kind of outlined in black. Got a pretty simple front grille. There is a little circle right there. I'd imagine that's for like, I imagine that's an air jack inlet, so you can like hook your compressed air up to it and it jacks up the car. I think they had that back in the 90s. I'm not 100% sure, but there's one on the front and there's also one on the back right there. So I'm assuming that's what that is. You do have reflective material in the rear, in the side mirrors. So that is nice. Camera never likes to focus on that. And they are molded what looks to be pretty accurately. They are just hard plastic, so you do have to be careful with them. This is a left-hand drive version. These are probably only in left-hand drive. But you have red seats on the interior, and I do spot some harnesses printed onto the seats, so that is nice. You have the gear shifter in the center right there, and I think the ball has some silver on it. And then I believe that little silver canister in front of the passenger is probably like a fire extinguisher or something. But that probably should have been painted red. And then, of course, you do have your yellow Ferrari badge on the steering wheel. Probably not very accurate looking, but it is there. It's a little splash of color on the inside of the car. Never complain about that. But yeah, the front end looks pretty good. And then the rear end, of course, you have this like mesh at the back. But the rear end looks good. You have these silver lines kind of going across the back lights and this center piece right there, which I'm sure is accurate, and it looks really good, is what I was getting at. You do have the 348 Challenge lettering up there in the top right. Taillights are acrylic. They all look really good. You've got orange in the bottom corners, and then you have your white in the middle. Looks really good. Dual exhaust tips on both sides, done in silver metallic. And yeah, nothing on the license plate. Overall, it looks really good. It's very clean. I definitely do like it, but it's just a presentation version, so it's nothing too crazy. I definitely prefer the models that have actual like racing liveries, but well, that's lovely. They don't like to stack when they're not in the cardboard. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the shell one now. This is the one that I'm more excited for. My shell collection is growing. But yeah, 348 Challenge from the Italian GT 1994. Ferrari licensing on the bottom, of course. And then there's the name of the car, driven by Oscar Lari. So very cool. Again, Hobby 64. And no card in there. More tape, which I don't really understand the point of that. I guess it kind of helps if it were to like drop or something, maybe. I don't know. Maybe now with these new like cardboard sleeves not having a back, there's a lot less support, so they wanted to tape the acrylic. I'm not really sure. We'll have to see how that goes in the future. But like I said, we'll take this one off the base. The casting should be the same as the presentation version, just obviously different wheels, and then this one will have an actual race livery, which to me is the most fun part about race cars. I love the liveries. I think that's why I like race cars so much, is because of that. The cars are cool too, though. Let's see if this one rolls, because this one does have different wheels. So the back wheels roll actually pretty freely. The front wheels do not. So the front wheels do turn and spin, but they are kind of just, yeah, they don't move very free. But yeah, so some differences already. So on this one, you can see the brake details back behind the wheels. It looks like you've got some drilled rotors, and I think there's a silver caliper on the inside of the rotor. So on this side, also I apologize if my hands are dirty. I've been working on my car. But yeah, you can see the brake details on this one. And you could not see the brake details on this red one because the wheel spokes did not have... Well, I guess you can kind of see them in there a little tiny bit. But these spokes on these wheels, yeah, you can see them on the back right there. Kind of block them, so you get a much better view of the brakes on this particular car, which I really like. And this is kind of just like your standard black 5-spoke racing wheel. Looks really good. You do have that tire printing on these wheels again. The P0 in gold. It's kind of like a dark gold, and it looks much better on this model, which is good. I would rather it be messed up on the presentation version than an actual one with the livery. But yeah, Pirelli P0 printing on the tires, black 5-spokes. You do have a little bit of yellow paint on that center hub of the wheel, which I think is what they were going for on this, but didn't look very good. Those center dots look much better on this car. And again, casting is pretty much the same, but you do have this really nice looking shell livery. So white on the top, red stripe going down the middle, then yellow on the bottom, which is lovely. Big shell logos on the hood right there, and is on the roof as well. You got Monty Shell on the side of the door right there, the number 25 with the Pirelli. And there's some other sponsorship logos down there as well. You got Champion, Sparco, Ibach. I try to only read the ones that I actually recognize the brands, but there's TRW, Sebelt, USAG, Speed something, Fatal Speakers. So all kinds of really cool stuff on these cars. I like these cars because it's like owning a piece of history. But you got the name of the driver on the roof right there, Oscar Lari. On the front, Monty Shell on the windshield banner. You do only have one seat in this car, the driver's seat, and it's done in red with a black harness. And then you have your fire extinguisher down there on the floorboard, and it's painted red for that one. So I would love to know why they painted the fire extinguisher red in this one and silver in that one. That doesn't make a ton of sense to me. But yeah, I don't know. It's just the weird stuff Tarmac Works does. But the body lines look really good on the door right there. It kind of vents in right there. It looks really nice. Really well done casting. Front end, the little silver, I'm just going to keep calling it the air jack. The air jack is done in yellow on this car. It's probably supposed to be silver, but yeah. Well, I don't know why they would paint that one yellow, because that one's in a separate piece. That one's in the black grille. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe they are yellow on this particular car. But the fog lights look really good. Again, the headlights are down. You got your Ferrari badge in the center of the hood right there. Big number 25 box on the side. Pirelli logo. More Pirelli down here. Speed line. I like that the fog lights are kind of outlined in black. I don't think I mentioned that on the red one, but it looks really good. Then here's the side view from this side. Wing mirrors are done in white, and then you've got a little logo on them. I think that says AEC, AFC, something like that. I don't know what company that would be. But yeah, here's the back view. You do have little Monty Shell logos on the inside of these pillars back here, which is cool. And then, of course, your back glass tucked up in there. Got your fuel filler door right there. And on the back, you still have those same silver lines going across. You've got your silver exhaust pipes again. Pirelli on the license plate. And everything looks good. The prancing horse looks good. The Ferrari lettering up here looks good. Taillights look awesome. Overall, very well done. And I must say, I think it looks pretty good next to the F40 right here. Definitely a cool combo to have. So, yeah, I like it. I think they did a good job with them overall. Of course, these are Tarmac Works, so you're always going to expect to have Tarmac Works issues, as you guys know. And I don't know if it's IXO's fault or if it's actually Tarmac Works that produces these IXO ones. But yeah, Tarmac Works always just has issues with their quality control. It just is what it is. When you're shopping and buying Tarmac Works, you just got to accept that you're 99% of the time never going to get a pristine looking car from them. It's just the way it is. Like Mini GT, the failure rate is like, I don't know, like 20%. So you typically have an 80% chance of getting a good model. Obviously, these aren't like published statistics, but just from like my general experience, there's usually always going to be some things wrong with your Tarmac Works. But if you're okay with not worrying about it as much, then they're not bad models, not at all. But yeah, I think they look pretty good. Bases are plastic. If I probably forgot to mention that, it does tell you what the car is on the bottom. I do like that. So, but yeah, those are the two new Ferrari 348s. Like I said, I think they did a pretty good job with them overall. Definitely can't complain. Glad to have them in the collection. Yeah. I always like picking up these Tarmac Works Ferraris. In fact, I think I have another one coming. Not the 348. I think it's a Italia GT3. But I noticed they started releasing, at least for the Italia, they started releasing kind of like plain colors of them. And I told myself I wasn't really going to collect those. Up until this point, I do have every single Tarmac Works Ferrari, but I told myself I wasn't going to collect those because they were kind of boring, because they didn't have liveries, and they weren't like actually labeled the presentation model. But then I asked myself, well, then why did I collect all the plain colored for F40s? Is it because I like the F40 more? I really don't. I like modern Ferrari more than old. Well, I can't say that. I like all Ferrari. But yeah, I don't know. And then a buddy was talking to me and he told me, well, when these race teams and individuals buy these 458s and 488s and these race cars from Ferrari, they spec them in a plain color most of the time. They don't just come out of the factory with a shell livery. And I was like, you know what? That's a good point. I bet there's actual cars out here in these color specs that they're based on. So they definitely are real accurate cars, and at least in some sense, they came from the factory with, you know, plain white paint, plain yellow paint, plain red. So yeah, we'll probably end up picking up all those ones. I'm not super excited for them, so I don't know, maybe I'll change my mind, but that's kind of what we got. Of course, I appreciate you guys watching. We've got a bunch of stuff to review. I think I said it in the last video, but I have a mountain of stuff next to me, and I've got two big orders coming of more, an order almost strictly Tarmac Works stuff, and then another Mini GT order. So, and I think there's a wave of Mini GT dropping this week too, that has like 5 or 6 cars in it. So, yeah, nonstop. It never ends, which is a good thing. We enjoy this, right? We try to. We try not to spend all our money on it either, but, you know, sometimes it just is what it is.